Let us have a quick conversation about the best day to pay your credit card so you can increase your credit score. Don't go anywhere because I'll be talking to you about when is the best time to pay your credit card bill. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about when is the best time to pay your credit card bill. And the ultimate goal here is what? You want to boost your credit score. That's the bottom line, right? One thing you need to understand is that there are a lot of times where you can make a credit card payment and still see a boost in your FICO score. One thing we need to say right off the bat, the earlier the better. Okay, the saying timing is everything definitely applies to your credit card payment. So late payments come with quite a few consequences you should avoid if possible, right? You don't want to have that. It's really important to pay your bills on time. I mean, I don't have to tell you that. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it, but it is really important. I need to sort of emphasize that. Why? Because when you look at the FICO scoring model, you have 35% of your credit score depends on your payment history. Think about it. 35% of your credit score depends on your payment history. So right now, if you're currently having a bad credit score or a fair credit score, you know what to do. You need to take care of that payment history. Very important. So if you have a record of making late credit card payments, this can ding your score. This is very important. And this is another reason why you should make paying off your credit cards a priority. I don't care what kind of problems you have during the month. Please make sure that you pay the minimum due, at least the minimum due every month. And sometimes it may be worth paying early because your credit card's bill due date simply signifies that a billing cycle has ended and it's time to pay up. The due date is not necessarily when your current balance will be reported to the credit bureaus. This is one of the big sort of myths that people don't understand, that they think, oh, I have to wait all the way until the 28th or 29th to make a payment. No, it might make sense to pay your bill well before it's actually due. This is very important. So why is the due date so important? Big decision time. I want you to listen to me right now. Why is the due date important? Well, listen, every month you get a statement from your credit card issuer listing what you have charged during the billing cycle and how much you owe, right? So the statement includes a minimum payment amount and a due date. You must pay at least the minimum by the due date. Everybody knows that. But if you don't, you could face some unpleasant consequences. But the thing is that if you want to boost your credit score, you need to actually work on something called your credit utilization ratio. And this is why you want to make a payment early, so that the CUR, credit utilization ratio, that they report to the credit bureau is actually low by the time they report it. So, are you with me? Are you following here? So the job here is that after you finish watching this video, you need to become unstoppable in terms of managing your payment so that you can boost your credit score. Let me give you the step-by-step here. First, you want to manage your bill. Okay, you, aside from keeping an eye on your credit utilization ratio and making a payment on time, you need to manage your bill. In other words, you want to keep a budget and track your spending. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you how to manage your finances, but you need to manage your bill. You know, you can sign up for text or email alerts from your credit card issuer to keep tabs on your balances. This is important. You want to keep tabs on your balances and your billing due date. So sign up for text or email alerts. Don't tell me you don't want to be bothered because they text you all the time. No, you just want to have one reminder. Either you can receive the text from your issuer, or you can set up in your own agenda a reminder maybe 4 days or 3 days before the due date, so you have an idea. You want to call your issuer to move your bill's due date if it does not coincide with your pay schedule, right? If you are struggling with liquidity management, let's say cash is tight, you don't know when you get paid, and you don't have some kind of regular payments because you don't have a full-time job or a part-time job that pays regularly, you want to actually have a conversation with a credit card issuer. And a lot of credit card issuers, by the way, they are very, they understand, they're flexible. You just got to explain why you want to move the due date, and they will talk to you. They will accommodate you. This is very important. In addition to that, you want to review your statement carefully every month. This is important, especially if you make a lot of charges on the card. Guess what? There might be some errors. So please check your statement carefully every month. You want to really know exactly what's going on, because this could help you spot and correct unauthorized charges if they arise. Right? If you have been a victim of identity thefts, things happen these days, folks. This is really a lot of things happen. You never know. Life goes on. People steal people's identity, online, offline, whatever. But if you review your statements every month, you're able to also check your credit score regularly. You will spot any unauthorized charges and you can fix them. Also, try to set up automatic payments. Okay, this can help you avoid accidentally missing the payment due date. Try to automate things. Automate as much as possible. Okay. The second thing you need to do: pay in full. Pay in full. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't have a lot of cash to pay in full. Well, guess what? Why are you charging so much on the card in the first place? Are you living beyond your means? Talk to me. Talk to me about that. This is a conversation we need to have at any point anyway. Why are you making $1,000 a year and you're charging $2,000 or $3,000 on your credit card every month? This is not acceptable. I don't care what you're telling me. Well, I have issues. I have family issues, whatever. No. The thing here is that you gotta really be financially disciplined. So paying in full will actually help you all the time. I know that this video is supposed to tell you the best way to pay your credit card so you increase your FICO score, right? My thing is you can pay just the minimum payments. You can pay something in between. You can pay in full, but it is a lot better to start having a budget, to track your spending, to mark your calendar. Okay, please use all the technology tools that you have, the apps, the free apps, the free software that you have there to help you understand that you want to pay in full if you can. You can consider autopay. I've talked about it before. Autopay is very important, but you only want to have autopay if you're able to control your spending, because the last thing you want is to start racking up overdraft fees at your bank. You don't want that either, right? Because you don't want to rob Peter to pay Paul. That will be nonsense. So what we want to have here is to have a situation where you are charging $200 or $300 or $1,000 every month, and you are paying the full $1,000. This will help you tremendously. This will help you boost your credit score. You don't have to worry about paying late payment fees, all that kind of stuff. No. And you also want to check in frequently. So if you decide that autopay is not for you, another idea is to check in frequently. But honestly, if you make a decision to pay in full, you don't have to do all this kind of stuff. You don't have to move your due date. You don't have to check in frequently. You don't have to consider autopay, all these things, because you and I know that you are paying whatever you charge on the card, you will be paying it in full every month. So this goes back to rule number one. This is, in our view, rule number one is to pay in full, to pay your charges in full. Do not carry a balance over, and you'll be fine. The third thing you can do, because here we are talking about the perfect date, right? You want to hear from me the 15th, the 10th, the 21st, the 29th. Who cares about the dates? What you want to do is you want to make multiple payments on your credit card bill. Did you hear that? I want you to write it down. What I'm trying to tell you here is that you want to make multiple payments on your credit card bill. I don't care if Chase or Navy Federal is telling you your bill is due by the 5th of the month. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, all right. But they're not forcing you to wait until the 5th to make a payment. Did you hear that? You don't have to wait until the 5th. All you have to do is to tell yourself, listen, I have to pay maybe $1,000. I have $1,000 on the card. And instead of waiting until the 5th to make $200 or $300, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay $25 every day or every other day. I'm going to pay $10 every other day. You control that. You have the ability to control that. And this is kind of cool because you are targeting something called CUR. You want your CUR to go down. And the thing is that when you start making multiple payments on your credit card bill, you don't have to worry about when the data is reported to TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax, because you don't care, because whatever date they pick, whatever date the credit card issuer picks to report your data, you know that your CUR will be low. The thing is, a lot of folks, this is kind of funny. A lot of folks, they wait until the 5th where they make the payments. But the problem is that their data was reported to the credit bureaus on the 25th, and on the 25th, on the 28th, they had a high CUR. So your credit score will never go down if you go that way. If you start paying, if you always pay at the end of the month. The fourth thing you can try to do is to change your bill due date. I spoke about this before. I know that, but I really want to dig a little deeper here. It is important to make sure that your due date, the thing is, you don't know when your credit card issuer is reporting transactional data to the credit bureaus. But one thing you know when you get paid, you know when you have some cash coming in, you know based on the full-time job, the seasonal job, the part-time job, or the side gigs that you have, you know that you are making money by the 15th. You know your bank account is smiling by the 20th. You know that things are good, things are rosy in your household by the 25th. You know when you get paid. Why don't you just pick up the phone and have a conversation with the issuer and explain that to them, that you want your bill due date to coincide with your cash inflows date. This is important. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation today about the best day to pay your credit card so you can increase your FICO score. That's the bottom line. I want you to increase your FICO score. I want you to be unstoppable when it comes to increasing the FICO score. You can pay before the due date. Big decision time. Let me ask you a question. Are you always paying before the due date, or you wait until the same day to make a payment? Talk to me about that. Talk to me about that, because the thing is, making at least the minimum payment before the cutoff time or the due date will keep your account in good standing and help you avoid late payment fees, right? So missing your credit card payments even by just a few minutes will result in at least a late fee. So if Chase or Navy Federal or PenFed or Wells Fargo or whatever your credit card issuer is tells you your due date is the 28th, don't make the payment on the 27th or the 28th. No, just wait for 2 days. Just make the payment 2 days or 3 days before. Because chances are, if something happens, if you make the payment on the 27th, this could go through. If your bank is, if you bank with the same institution, that's fine. But if you have to transfer the money to another account, from your account to another bank, this could be a problem. Or if you make the payment the same day, this could also be a problem. So make the payments on the 25th if your due date is the 28th, or you can make the payment on the 24th. You can also make the payment before the account statement closing date. Credit card, credit card, credit card. Why am I saying this, folks? Why am I saying this? First of all, when we talk about due date, the due date is totally different from the account statement closing date. Okay, so the thing here is you have to understand is that to ensure a lower credit card balance is reported to the credit bureaus in the current month, make your credit card payment before the account statement closing date. So having a high credit card balance updated on your credit report can raise your credit utilization and cost you credit score points. So having the best possible credit score is important if you're planning to apply for a major loan. I don't have to tell you that, like a mortgage or car loan, before your next account statement closing date rolls around. So your account statement, one thing you need to remember here is that credit card billing cycles often last for 29 to 31 days. So the last day of your billing cycle is called your statement closing date. This is totally different from your due date, your payment due date. Okay, so whatever credit card balance you have on this date is usually the balance that your credit card issuer reports to the credit bureaus. So your closing date is not the same as your payment due date. So after all, your credit card payment technically is not due until the end of a 21st to 25-day period, known as the grace period. You can also make a payment early in the billing cycle. So I've told you that you can actually make multiple payments, or you can just say, listen, so right now your billing cycle starts on the 5th of the month. You can make a payment on the 7th or the 8th. Okay, so your due date may fall later in the billing cycle, but paying your credit card early in the billing cycle can reduce the amount of your finance charge. Okay, so here I'm kind of helping you be unstoppable in terms of boosting your FICO score. Did you get that? But also reducing your finance charges, especially if you don't make any other purchases during the billing cycle. This is kind of cool just to make the payment early in the billing cycle. This is because your credit card issuer likely uses either the daily balance or average daily balance method to calculate your finance charge. So in both cases, having a lower balance for more days in the month will result in a lower finance charge. So this is really good. And you can find your account's closing date and the number of days in your credit card's billing cycle on your credit card statements. So all that information is there. A lot of folks don't pay attention to that. People just pay attention to the minimum, to their balance, the credit card balance, and the minimum due. You can also make a payment when your direct deposit hits. Like the same day your direct deposit hits, you can make a payment that day. So making your credit card payment right after you get paid ensures you can afford the payment and reduces the likelihood that you will have a return payment, right? Because you have cash, you have some ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching in the bank account. All right, this is kind of cool, especially if you are scraping by right now, if you're struggling to make ends meet and you're just trying to, you are monitoring every penny hitting your account. It is good to sort of have this liquidity coincidence. You want to manage your liquidity situation so that when you have a cash inflow, you can actually have a cash outflow when the cash inflow hits your bank account. But this is good. So you can send your payments even if your payment isn't due for several days, for peace of mind, knowing your payment is covered. Don't wait until the last minute. Things happen, life happens, especially if you have a sort of tricky financial situation. You want to make a payment as soon as your direct deposit hits. You can also make a payment before making a large purchase. Okay, so putting a big purchase on your credit card when you already have a balance can raise your credit utilization and hurt your credit score. So paying down your balance before making big purchases can help your credit utilization from spiking and protect your credit score from a dip. And that's the bottom line here. The bottom line is for me to help you be unstoppable when it comes to boosting your credit score by reducing your credit utilization. Okay, so those are great. This is really great. And last but not the least, folks, you want to pay as soon as possible to pay less interest on debts. As soon as possible. This is different from making a full payment. Okay, this is totally different. So credit card users who always follow the rule of making a full payment never have to worry about paying interest, right? But for those carrying a balance, it's important to know how the amount of interest owed is determined. So each month, a credit card issuer takes an average of the balance owed by a cardholder on each day of the billing period. So it's each day. You're probably thinking that they just look at the balance at the end of the month. No, they take an average each day. So this is known as what? The average daily balance. You've seen this number, you have heard about this term before. This is what it means. So this number is applied to the cardholder's specific interest rate, your APR. Okay, so out of convenience, cardholders in debt sometimes wait until the due date of the next bill to finish paying off the previous month's balance, right? This means that for every day the payee might have the money to pay even part of that bill, they were still on record as owing the full value of their balance. So if instead they paid off the balance halfway through the billing cycle, the average balance, the average daily balance, okay, for that period will drop by half. So these are things you have to think about. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say you have a $1,000 balance, and let's assume that you paid off $500 of your balance at the end of the billing cycle. So your average daily balance will be over $1,000. This is $1,000 plus interest charges for each day of the billing cycle. And compare this to your cousin, for example, who pays off $500 in the middle of the billing cycle and whose average daily balance will be over $1,000 only for half of the billing cycle and then around $500 thereafter. So your cousin, in this case, would pay less in interest over the course of a month, Okay, so depending on the balance and the interest rate that you're carrying, the savings could be significant. So those are little calculations you need to think about. So instead of deciding to pay at the beginning or at the end of your billing period, you, especially if you are a cardholder in debt, you should simply keep working away at what you owe as much as you can, knowing that it's not just the total paid off at the end of the month that matters, but the timing too. So pay as soon as possible to pay less interest on debt. So let me just quickly recap here. It's important to understand that when you should make a credit card payment depends on a lot of things, including your liquidity situation. So if your credit utilization is 30% or less and you pay in full every month, you want to pay your credit card bill by the due date listed on your monthly account statement. If your balance is more than 30% of your credit limits, you want to pay your credit card bill before the billing period closes to reduce your credit utilization. Then you want to pay the remaining balance by the due date. If you are carrying a balance from month to month, pay off your full credit card balance as soon as possible to save on interest. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.